because of my name, Mary. When Bnei Israel were in the desert, they complained that they could not survive because they did not have any water. Hashem miraculously made a well that would follow them in the desert in honor of Mary. Wherever the well was, flowers, bushes, and even trees started to grow. When Bnei Israel left that area and the well followed, the plants died. After Miriam died, the well dried up. The well was in honor of Miriam. Why was Miriam, not Moshe or Aaron, chosen to merit the well? What qualities does Miriam have that makes the well perfect for her? Miriam was unique among the great women of Tanakh. Miriam led the women in singing and dancing, and Moshe led the men. However, the men's music was only from their voices, whereas the women sang and danced with tambourines. Miriam knew from her dream that Moshe would take Bnei Israel out of Egypt and wanted to have instruments to play when they celebrated their exodus from Egypt. Therefore, Miriam and the women made tambourines in advance. I would like to connect these events with the following thought. When Miriam had her dream, she did not just sit and wait for it to be realized. When Miriam had her dream, she prepared for her dream to happen by making tambourines. In a time that Bnei Israel were tired, the people remembered Miriam via the well and renewed their trust in Hashem's blessed and promised. I'd like to start my thank yous by thanking you all for coming.
Mazel tov, Miriam!
Mazel tov, Miriam!
All right, here we go. Back at the beginning of the gummy bear ball. Spoon to spoon. One gummy bear. One spoon. Which team will get to the end first? Who's it gonna be? gummy bear falls off, we're back at the beginning. 3 gummy bears, 1 spoon. 3 gummy bears, 1 spoon.
Brian, sing for us.
Getting trickier and trickier.
Lana.
כולם הוידו והמליכו ויאמרו יחד כולם הוידו והמליכו ויאמרו
I've been studying Shabbos with my mom, Parsha with my dad, and many other topics with my teachers. It was a very hard choice, but I have chosen to simply speak about Miriam Hanaviyah because of my name, Miriam. Miriam was the daughter of Yocheved and Amram. She was the older sister of Moshe and Aaron. She was born during the time that Paro was making Bnei Israel be his slaves. When my Torah, I have considered many different topics. I have been studying Shabbos with my mom, Parsha with my dad, and many other topics with my teachers. It was a very hard choice, but I have chosen to simply speak about Miriam Hanaviyah because of my name, Miriam. Miriam was the daughter of Yocheved and Amram. She was the older sister of Moshe and Aaron. She was born during the time that Paro was making Bnei Israel be his slaves. When she was about 3 years old, Paro ordered all the baby boys to be thrown into the Nile River. After her brother Moshe was born, her mother Yocheved put Moshe in a basket afloat on the Nile River. Miriam watched him, and eventually Paro found Moshe. Later, Moshe led Bnei Israel out of Egypt. After many years of wandering in the desert, Miriam suffered tzara for speaking lashon hara about her brother Moshe. Bnei Israel waited 7 days in the desert for Miriam to heal as a reward for when she was Moshe when he was a baby floating on the Nile River. They had a year before Bnei Israel entered Israel and Miriam died. When Bnei Israel were in the desert, they complained that they could not survive because they did not have any water. Hashem miraculously made a well that would follow them in the desert in honor of Miriam. This well followed them in the desert in honor of Miriam. This well followed Bnei Israel in the desert and provided water for everyone. Wherever the well was, flowers, bushes, and even trees started to grow. When Bnei Israel left that area and the well followed, the plants died. After Miriam died, the well dried up. Our rabbis all tell us that the man in the desert was in honor of Moshe, the cloud was in honor of Aaron, and the well was in honor of Miriam. Why was Miriam, not Moshe or Aaron, chosen to merit the well? What qualities does Miriam have that makes the well perfect for her? When Miriam was only 6 years old, she had a dream that one day her brother Moshe would take Bnei Israel out of Egypt. Miriam was unique among the great women of Tanakh. When Yocheved put Moshe in a basket afloat on the Nile River, Miriam wanted to see if her dream would come true. If Moshe died, then her dream would have just been a dream. But because he lived, she knew that her dream would come true. When Moshe finally took Bnei Israel out of Egypt, Miriam led the women in singing and dancing, and Moshe led the men. However, the men's music was only from their voices, whereas the women sing and dance with tambourines. Miriam knew from her dream that Moshe would take the Israel out of Egypt and wanted to have instruments to play when they celebrated the Exodus from Egypt. Therefore, Miriam and the women made tambourines in advance. I would like to connect these events with the following thought. When Miriam had her dream, she did not just sit and wait for it to be realized. When Miriam had her dream, she prepared for her dream to happen by making tambourine. This is a symbol of how we as Jewish people act on our dreams and with the help of Hashem turn them into reality. Dreams need to be constantly renewed, otherwise they become stale and lifeless. Therefore, the water of the well is a symbol of Miriam and one's ability to refresh the hope of the Jews. The water of a well is fresh water, and the lesson is that in a time of despair, one must dream of a better world and prepare for a better world. In a time that B'nai Israel were tired, the people remembered Miriam, via the well, and renewed their trust in Hashem's chesed and promise. I would like to start my thank yous by thanking you all for coming. Whether from near or far, you made an effort to come celebrate with me at my Bat Mitzvah. I would like to thank Rabbi Kelmer for helping me write the Dvar Torah I just delivered. You and your Torah knowledge helped make this a great Dvar Torah. Thank you for giving some of your precious time to help make this Dvar Torah the best it could be. Bubby, this past May you turned 101. I'm so happy to have you. Whenever we go to Tennessee for the summer, you always treat us to ice cream or Mikey's toppings. It is never boring to be around you. Even though you are older, you are very independent. You do a lot for yourself and love to help around the kitchen. Your prize regalach are the best. I love you. Grandma Lil, this past winter we went to visit you in Seattle. It was amazing. For a long time we have been sending you pictures of us with captions every day. It has been so much fun. I'm sorry that you couldn't make the trip to be here today. I hope to visit you again soon. Saba, thank you for always believing in me. No matter what I do, you always believe I can do it and do it well. Last year we went to your house in Tennessee for a month. We wanted to have a lemonade stand. Since you live on a dead end where most people don't usually drive, Alana and Santa both thought that you wouldn't make any money. You believed in us and we ended up making $7.75. We each got $2.50 and Ellie got a quarter. Even though we didn't make a lot of money, we still made money. I still love you. I love you. Santa, every summer since I was 5, I've been flying to Tennessee with my siblings. When we are there, you take us places, we have barbecues, we swim, and we do so many more things. You run it all and you're amazing at it. Thank you. I love you. Grandma. Okay. Grandma, you have always been a fun person to talk to. You are always ordering things online and slightly changing the shade of your eyeshadow, lipstick, blush, or any other makeup that you wear. Your pizza is the best in the world. I love you. Grandpa, thank you for always giving me candy when you see me. You are always complimenting me, so now all I can say is, oh, go on. You are great at mini golf. I love you. Next, I will think my mom. Not only did you spend so much money and time on this Bat Mitzvah, but in general. You run the house and you are a doctor for allergy and asthma. Even though you are so busy, you always have enough time for me. I love you. Now I will thank my dad. Thank you for always being there for me. You always have time for me even though you are very busy with work. At night, you always play piano or guitar, and I love to listen to it in my bed. It's amazing how you have so much work, but you still find time to be with me and help me with anything I need. You are the best dad ever, and I know that will never change. I love you. Alana. As my only sister, you hold a very big place in my heart. You have special qualities that I admire, like never losing it around Anna or Ellie like I do, or being the kind of person that you can tell anything. We have shared so many memories throughout our lives, starting with the moment I was born. You are the oldest kid in the family, so you have a very serious role. You have to be the role model for the boys and me. You do a great job because even though you might not always know what it is, you always manage to do the right thing. I once heard friends come and go, but sisters last forever. This is in my case true. You are the best sister a girl can have. I love you. Avi. Thanks, Mom. Okay. Even though we might fight a lot, when we aren't fighting, we make a great team. This summer, we went to the beach when we were getting ready to leave, we all had to carry something to the car. Both you and I wanted to be as helpful as possible, so we took 4 bags and slipped them onto a huge shovel. Then you carried the front of the shovel on your shoulder and I carried the back. We made a great team. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for always being positive. When you are in a good mood, nothing can make you mad. You always have something to say. You can probably go a whole day just sitting and talking thanks to the amazing amount of energy that you have. You're amazing. To all my cousins, thank you for being so nice and just hanging out with me. You never make my day boring. I love you. To all my aunts and uncles, thank you for taking me places when I'm at your house, telling me to feel at home. You are all great aunts and uncles. I love you all. Last but definitely not least, I would like to thank all my friends. Thank you for hanging out with me in school and on Shabbos. I can always count on you to make me laugh. I went to Hank with most of you, and I've had a great time. You made Hank one of the best years of my life. I love you all. You guys are all amazing.
On behalf of Moshe and myself, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for coming to Miriam's Bat Mitzvah celebration. We know that holiday weekends are precious, and we appreciate your spending your Labor Day holiday with us. You are all our special guests, and I'd like to thank those of you who have traveled as far away as Memphis, Houston, Silver Spring, Boston, Chicago, New Jersey, Muncie, West Hempstead, the 5 towns, and Staten Island. I think I got everybody. I'd like to thank Rabbi Kellemer, who personally took the time to meet with Miriam in preparation for her Bat Mitzvah and help her develop her ideas into her Dvar Torah. We are very grateful that Miriam's Babi was able to make the trip from Memphis, and we look forward to sharing many more smachot with her in the future. We are sorry that Miriam's other great-grandmother, Grandma Lil, was not able to make the trip from Seattle, but we were glad that she was able to participate in the video greetings. I would like to thank my parents who pride themselves in being active grandparents and who are always available to help their children and grandchildren, unless they're on vacation, from babysitting on Thursdays to helping me with my practice to really anything we need. I'd also like to thank my in-laws, Moshe's parents, who have flown in from Memphis. Even though they live far away, they're always available to offer help and advice. Our children have spent a lot of time with their Saba and Sapta during the summers, and it is an experience that both they and our children cherish. I'd like to thank Ilana, Avi, and Ellie, all of whom have helped prepare for this event, especially these last few hectic weeks with the hurricane and loss of power and the stresses of construction, and all of whom feel true joy and excitement for their sister Miriam. And of course, I'd like to thank Miriam, who has brought tremendous joy to our lives and of whom we are so proud. Miriam is an exceptional young woman. Among her special qualities, Miriam is a doer. She likes to help her friends and family. She is always smiling and cares about others, and she always tries to do the right thing. I'd like to share a quick Dvar Torah also about Miriam HaNeviah. When our daughter Miriam was a little girl, one of her favorite books was called Miriam Speaks Up. It told the popular story of Miriam HaNeviah when she was also a little girl. Paro had just commanded that all of the firstborn sons were to be thrown into the Nile. As a result, Miriam's father Amram, who was the leader of the Jewish people at the time, decided that the husbands and wives should separate so as to not subject their children to this fate. Miriam, who was only 5 or 6 at this time, spoke up and argued with her father's decision. Miriam argued that Paro's decree sentenced only the boys, but her father's decree sentenced the boys and the girls. Therefore, she argued, the family should stay together. Her father recognized that she was right, husbands and wives got back together, and Moshe was born. This was one of Miriam's favorite stories. However, there was another story about Miriam HaNeviah that made her uncomfortable. At the end of Parshas Ba'alotcha, the Torah tells us that Miriam spoke Lashon Hara with her brother Aharon about Moshe. How could this great prophetess and leader of Israel have committed such a lowly sin? This incident bothered our daughter Miriam a lot, and she would literally cringe every time it was mentioned. Miriam, I would like to provide one explanation for this incident, which is also hopefully will illustrate a lesson in life. First, what exactly was the Lashon Hara that Miriam spoke? Moshe had separated from his wife Zipporah in order that he could be ready to receive Hashem's word at any moment. He was on call 24/7, 365 days a year. Miriam spoke ill about Moshe to Aaron by noting that they too also were prophets, yet they did not separate from their own spouses. She therefore concluded that Moshe should not have separated from his spouse either. In fact, from Miriam's point of view, this was a very strong argument. As a prophetess herself, she had personal evidence that separation wasn't necessary. But more than that, her argument that a husband shouldn't separate from his spouse is exactly the same one that had prevailed with her father when she was a little girl. Back then she was right, so she was probably right here too. But Miriam, the Torah is teaching us that in this case, Miriam Hanaviah was not right. A correct response to a prior situation may not be the correct response to every situation. In the case of Amram and Yocheved, the correct response was to stay together. But in the case of Moshe and Zipporah, the correct response was to separate. So Miriam, here's the message. As you have been growing up, you've been encountering situations and you've been learning how to navigate life. As you do, you start to pick up many rules of thumb from prior situation or things that you learned from your parents and teachers. Psychology tells us that the act of making decisions and thinking through things is very taxing, and as humans, we develop simple rules to help us from having to make these decisions over and over. And although this ability enables us to go through life's mundane activities without being paralyzed by the myriad of choices we would otherwise have to make every day, sometimes we do have to reevaluate the situation. Sometimes yesterday's decision needs to be reconsidered in light of new information or a new situation. We always have to be wary of relying on slogans or simplicities for important life choices. Miriam, today we are celebrating your becoming a Bat Mitzvah, as you now must take on the responsibilities of keeping the mitzvot of a full Jewish woman. Thank God you are a very accomplished young lady. We are very proud of what you have achieved so far, and we are celebrating your past accomplishments in order to encourage your success in the future. However, we also want you to keep in mind that those techniques and strategies that have helped you so far may not always be the best approaches for success in the future. As a small girl, Miriam Hanaviah learned that family life is extremely important and should never be disrupted. What she may not have realized is that there are exceptions. They are extremely rare, but they exist. As you go through life, we hope that you will grow and be thoughtful and not just sit back and rely on your past successes. We have to continue to learn and adapt in order to reach your full potential. Daddy and I have the utmost confidence that you will rise to the challenge as you assume the responsibility of a young Jewish woman with grace and pride. We are blessed to have you as a child, and we love you very much. Mazel tov.